WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, X, and our website, www.wvtcdetroit.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. Thank you for tuning to WVTC Radio Detroit and the Community Bell Show with your host, former Wayne County Commissioner Edna Bell. Stay tuned for insightful information Detroiters will find valuable. Text a friend and tell them to watch with you for news you can use. And now, your host, Edna Bell.
Hello. It's Monday afternoon at 4 o'clock, so it must be the Community Bell Show. Good afternoon. It's Monday in Detroit area, and this is your host, Edna Bell, coming to you from the wonderful WVTC Radio Detroit, Stellar Award winning station. We just congratulate ourselves because we've won 2 Stellar Awards out of being nominated 3 times, and we've been nominated the 3rd time and came in the top 4. So, we're happy about it. We are happy about it because we've got a wonderful station here and we enjoy coming to you, bringing you the kind of information you need to know. Well, we've got a guest today, but before our guest comes on, I want to just tell you a couple of things because we're going to be talking politics today. Next Tuesday, a week from tomorrow, is Election Day. A week from tomorrow, August 6th, is Election Day. I hope you guys are registered. I hope you vote. But in case you aren't, you can still register to vote now. I want you to know that. You need to go to your local clerk's office and register. Early voting started on the 27th. Early voting started on the 27th of July. So you can vote right now. So you can't say, well, I've got to work on the 6th. I don't think I can make it. No, 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 no. No excuse. You can vote right now. Right now, you can vote all the way up to August the 4th. That's the last day of early voting. So please get out there and vote. If you don't know what your precinct is or what, just you can do all this stuff online. Go in, put in your address. It will tell you where your voting location is. If you don't remember if you're registered, that you can also find that out. And if you're not, go to your local clerk's office and register. It is so very, very important. There are all sorts of issues on the ballot, but the one I want to talk to you about today has to do with our libraries. Now, we've got enough folks around here who can't read and need help in terms of learning to read just information. There is a millage on this ballot on August the 6th that will raise money for the libraries. It is not new money. It's the same money you've been paying since 2014. It is a renewal of the millage. It is a renewal of the millage. So if anybody tells you, oh, that's new money, not new money, you're already paying it. You'll just continue to pay it to keep our libraries open for our children, for seniors, for adults, for anybody who needs information. They have computers in the library. If you don't have internet at home, you can go to the library and use the library's computers. All sorts of information. And libraries are close to my heart because I need to tell you that was the first job I had out of college. Actually, I was still in college at Wayne State University, working part-time at the Knapp Branch Library, which is located on Conant, just south of Davison. And at the time, the police station was on the corner and the library was just next to it. So, yeah, that's where I first started working for the library, 1963. Oh, my goodness. 1963, I was a sophomore at Wayne State University, and that was my first job. I went on to work at Richard Branch Library on Grand River near Livernois, and then I went on to work at Bowen Branch Library on West Grand Boulevard and Verner. So, yeah, libraries are near and dear to my heart. So go out and support the libraries. The libraries are open here in Michigan and Detroit. 1865 was when we opened the public library. 1865. And there are 22 branches, 22. 21 of them are in the community, and one of them is the main branch of the library. And if you've never been to the main branch of the library, just go just to see. It's a wonderful building outside and inside. It's got a wonderful auditorium on the lower level. Just wonderful library, wonderful facility. So do that, but be sure you vote. Vote for the millage. It's not going to cost you any more than you're paying right now. It's not new money. It's the same money you're paying right now. So I just want you to do that. So now that was my go vote reason for today. And all of you young folks just graduated from high school who just turned 18 or about to turn 18, go get registered. Vote for the first time on next Tuesday, August the 6th. Please do that. Please do that. Now, for my guest today. My guest today is someone who has been on the show before, a couple of times before, and you all know her from all of her work in the community and all the things that she's been involved in the community. It's the Honorable Leslie Love, former state representative for Michigan. Leslie, how are you?
Good evening. Hello, Edna
Hello
Bell.
there.
I
Hello
am
there.
feeling amazing. How are you?
So I'm great. I'm so glad you could join us today. We're talking politics and voting and all those kinds of good stuff, and particularly why people should vote. Talk to people about why they should vote, Leslie.
Oh, my computer stopped for a second, so I didn't hear your question.
Talk to people why they should
Oh,
vote.
well, first, I want to say the millage. I'm so glad that you brought the library millage up because my first job as well, when I was in college at Siena Heights, it was a college then, Siena Heights University in Adrian, Michigan.
Oh
My
my.
very first job on campus was in the library. So
Isn't
I'm
that
old
something?
school. Yes, I'm old school. I know how to read the card catalog.
Yes, yes.
Y'all
All
know,
of
y'all
that.
Google everything. You all look it up on electronically on the computer and find your book. And then, and you know how we had to shelve the books and
Yes.
the shelves. Oh, it was a nightmare, but it was a
But
lovely
at the time,
place.
we loved it. I loved working at the library. I met my husband at the
Actually,
library.
I did.
He was
Oh,
the
that is
reader.
such a good place to meet a husband or a
Yeah,
wife if you want a wife. Yeah, that we should start date night at the libraries. How
there
about
you go.
that?
There you go.
Yes.
I would love it. And people just don't know what a resource the libraries are. And as I said, if you don't have a computer at home or your internet is a little bit shaky, go to the library.
Yes.
It's free. Go to
Yes.
the library. They're,
And
they're,
it's
they're
important.
wonderful resources in our community, and people don't
Mhm.
use them as much as they should. So, I'm a big library person.
Same. And I am the president of the Schaefer 7-8 Lodge Neighborhood Association here on the northwest side of Detroit. And we've started a book club. And our book, we're reading right now, A Cloud of Women by Reverend Dr. Georgia Hill and Diane Proctor Reader. And on September, well, I'm going to look up the date. In September, we're going to discuss the book and have the authors who are Detroiters right here, Detroit born and raised authors here. It's Women of the Bible, and they are relating the story to Black women in history and drawing the similarities and comparisons there as inspiration for our current day Black women lives
Yes.
to go and face the world. So it's going to be, I've read it already. It's a great read. I was down at our main library not too long ago. And they have excellent programming at the main.
Yes.
When you look at it, it's not the library of the 80s, but a lot of really good, intriguing programming down there. So yeah, go visit your library.
Absolutely, absolutely. Gotta visit the libraries. Gotta visit the libraries. Well, I opened by talking about the election that's coming up. Real
Mhm.
important. I know we say this every time there's an election, that it's the most important election of your lifetime. But oh my goodness, is this ever the most important?
Yes, it is the most important. And I know everyone is so excited. So am I about the presidential race and this energy that is surrounding Vice President Harris. But locally here in Michigan, we have an equally important race right here in August. You can't wait till November. It's like you said, it is
A week from
7 days, a
tomorrow.
week away from tomorrow. Our primary here in Michigan, where we'll get a chance to pick for the first time in history, there's an open U.S. Senate seat. And so we get to pick our candidate this time. So a lot of us feel like maybe there's some people didn't feel like they got to pick their presidential candidate, but you actually get to choose who will be your Democratic and Republican candidate for U.S. Senate this next Tuesday. And for the first time in history, for the first time in Michigan history, we have an African American male, and Hill Harper, who is also running for that space. So it's so important that we go out for our own, take care of home first and do that.
Absolutely.
And then,
Absolutely. For those who don't know who Hill Harper is, the candidate for the U.S. Senate race out of Michigan, tell us who Hill Harper is.
So if you have not heard of Hill Harper, let me reintroduce him for you.
There you go.
Hill Harper is an author, an attorney, a business owner, a philanthropist. Did I say author? And he is known for some of his work on very popular television and movie shows. So he is a dynamic, multifaceted human being, very intelligent and thoughtful. And he thought about what he wanted to do and what did he want to see in terms of how we govern and how we're taken care of as Michiganders, our politics across the nation and throughout the world. And said he thought he had something to offer in this space. And so he really comes from a public servant heart into this space to run for U.S. Senate. not from, he's divinely picked by the establishment to come and run, but he is a lot like us, listening to the show, and you and I, who are, just folks from right here in the city of Detroit, who want to see a better Michigan for everyone. And so he is looking at making sure you have more money in your pocket, your prescription drugs are less, that gun violence is eliminated, that we address the mental health crisis in America, and take care of our seniors. I mean, it's just from cradle to the other cradle.
Yes.
He has that heart for the people, and so I could go on and on and on, but you all can also go to hillharper.com. Did I almost try to make that rhyme? And read more about Mr. Harper and his background, and he's just a really incredible guy.
He really is. And Leslie mentioned every listening audience that he's a business owner. For those of you who frequent campus marches in downtown Detroit, if you know where the First National building is, it's that big building that's right across the street from campus marches. And it's a place right on the corner called the Roasting Plant. Hill Harper owns that.
Mhm.
He's a business owner in the city. And he just didn't start owning it yesterday. He's owned it for several years. And so when people talk about, well, where did he come from? He lives here. He bought a house here, has lived in the house for a number of years, and has a business here. So yeah, and is a father. Mention that. He's got a young son.
Oh yeah, he
That
is
he
a
adopted.
father. He is a father.
So just an all around good person that you need to make sure that as you are in that voting booth next Tuesday on August the 6th, or if you're voting early, that you give
Oh,
some
early.
consideration to Mr. Harper, black man from Detroit, in Detroit. Let's see if we can't do the right thing. Hill was on the show a little while ago, just before right after he announced, and he talked about some of the issues that he's interested in. And you've mentioned some of those, Leslie, particularly senior issues, homelessness, giving people a fair shake. But the other issue is um, finding housing for people. Housing is a real issue in our area. And I don't know if people really recognize how important it is and what a big issue it is. I was talking to some folks over the weekend as we talked about housing and talked about how young folk who were in foster care, once they age out of foster care, they don't have any place to go. That's important for us to recognize that we need to provide some mechanism for those young people to be able to take care of themselves. So many issues that need to be addressed in this particular election, not the least of them, uh, who is going to be president of the United States of America.
Right.
And as we talk about that, we have, for the first time, a black woman who is vying for the presidency of the United States. And you know what's interesting about that? She is so overly qualified. I'm not saying that overly qualified for the position. It isn't even debatable. She's so qualified. It's
Yeah.
incredible. She is so qualified. It is absolutely incredible. And we've got those folk who are calling her dumb and all sorts of other names because they don't have the vocabulary to
Yeah.
address the issue. So they just go back to the street stuff and say stuff like dumb. How about that? Or talk about women who don't have children as being lonely single cat women. How
Single
crazy
lonely cat women. That JD
Isn't
Vance.
that
He's a
amazing how people come up
silly
with crap?
man.
I'm not supposed to say crap on the radio. I'm sorry.
Mhm,
Isn't it
mhm.
amazing how people come up with stuff like that?
It is. It's uh, Vice President Kamala Harris. Kamala. Say it with me, everybody. For the people in the back row. Kamala. Okay.
And if you
Kamala
can't pronounce
Harris.
it, you probably need to go back to school. Those of you who are having trouble
Right.
pronouncing it. Okay, go ahead. I just
Mhm.
need to throw
That's
that
right.
out there.
It's so well credentialed. When she first ran for president, I thought, wow, if you're gonna run for president, come out blazing like she is and was. And from her experience to her education. It's right on. It's right on point. She's done the stair steps to where she is today, and it's comforting to know, because as a former policymaker and state appropriator, which decided where your money and how much money was going to go where, know that someone went through a process. Everybody want to go from just being in the choir to now running a whole church and being a preacher. It don't work like that. Sometimes these, getting to know this process. If you're going to run for United States president, she is ready. I know a lot of people I'm a business owner, I'm going to run for mayor and governor. And it's like, the government is not like your private business, trust me. And this is, and so I like her credentials. I like the way she has prepared for the moment, even though the moment was a surprise. It was a surprise to me that we are here. And
it was a very big surprise. And it was a surprise and a sad moment too. To see someone who has served our country for the number of years that Joe Biden has served our company decide that he needed to step back and let another generation step forward.
Yeah.
And someone who is
it was hard. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was
and
sad.
Those who love Joe and not only do I love Joe, but I actually love my singers too. And so I was like, he had a bad night. Why are we gonna get rid of him? Oh, that's so cruel. And
you mentioned that because as we're talking about all of the accolades for Kamala Harris, which are great and well deserved, I think the party also needs to do some looking at the seniors, because there's some seniors who are not happy about him being pushed out.
Mm-hmm.
And there needs to be some conversation directed at those seniors to hold on to them and to let them know that, we still respect your knowledge and your experience and all the things you bring to the table, and we need all of that. So no, we didn't just push seniors aside. Hey, I'm one of them. Okay.
I know. And what we know for sure is that our seniors are reliable. If they say
population,
they're going to vote, they're going to vote. If they say they're going to show up to your meeting, they show up to your meeting unless some extraordinary circumstances prevent that. They have a schedule. They know what they're going to do. I see them in my physical therapy Monday mornings. They come religiously. That is what we do. That's what they do. And so
we're going to be there. We're going to
go back. Yes,
absolutely.
Yes. So I think the campaign
do some outreach to those seniors to let them know that, we still need you. We need you. 80 is the new 60 or whatever they call it.
I know. These singers are strong these days. I was like, clearly y'all wasn't eating McDonald's and all this. I mean, somebody was cooking in someone's kitchen, giving you some whole food, sometimes too much of the good whole food. But we were like, real food. Y'all different.
we were eating real food. Even the government cheese made the best macaroni and cheese you ever had.
Some unmelted chunks right there just sitting on top of
it. There needs to be some outreach to our seniors to let them know we love you. We still need you. We want to hold on to you. So you help us out. Help a sister out. It's what we just help a sister out, because it's desperately needed. As we look at the other piece, and I'm just going to digress and go to another election, and that is there is a school board election that nobody's even talking about.
Yeah.
And November. There are, I want to say 26 people. I mean, some huge number of people that are running for seats on the school board. And we need to at least let people know that that's going to be on the ballot. And there's a whole lot of names you need to go through, and you need to make sure of who you're going to vote for before you get there, because there's a whole lot of people on the ballot for school board. And, I go back to my early days. School board is probably one of the most important positions you're ever going to have, because they're dealing with our babies.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Edna.
Yeah, this is about what's going on with our babies. And so people need to look at that school board race and make sure of who they're voting for and what these people's qualifications are. And then I looked at some of them. One was, he wants to be on there because he's a businessman. Well, that is so wonderful. And I don't know about his business, but just because you're a businessman does not mean you qualify to be a member of the Detroit Board of Education.
That's right. So I got in the mail, and hopefully, if you're a registered voter, you got in the mail some information from your clerk's office. I live in the city of Detroit, so Clerk Winfrey is my clerk, and she mailed this over because there are a lot of races that we're talking about, like the school board and the president that you won't see on your ballot till November. But on this August ballot, it's going to be for United States Senator, your representative in Congress, whoever your state reps are, some county sheriff, your clerk, and then there's the judicial races. We've got a couple of judge races coming up here, and I've only heard from one judge on this list of 3 for us, and that's Adrian Shrugs. That's the only person I've seen that's running for judge. So the other 2,
she's the only one I've seen. I've seen her all over the place. I've seen her everywhere.
Yeah, so she's campaigning hard.
Yes.
Yeah. And in addition to the library millage, which is proposal L, there's a proposal P for parks. So that's probably continue to use your tax dollars to help fund our parks. And I love what the city of Detroit is finally doing with the parks. Woo! We got some new equipment at our park. So I'm like, I'm definitely going to say yes to that again, because you all are using my dollars correctly. I like what I'm seeing. So now step up the game. I want our next governor to step up the game. Not the next governor, in this next term, to get some more funding for libraries too. Because we do, and at a time with all the lack of literacy.
Yes, and
libraries and some programs for literacy.
Plan of the library. Our libraries are old. Our libraries are some of the oldest in the nation, because we're an old city. But the physical plan of those libraries needs some help, and so they need to find a way to do something to make sure that they have whatever they need for the structural images of those libraries. So we need to make sure of that. But there's some folk on the ballot for some of the state house seats, and you have a copy of the ballot there. Just read off. There's a young lady, Tanya Myers Phillips, who's running for state house. And I think she's got Highland Park, Hamtramck, and some of the eastern parts are east of Woodward.
Oh. Well, yeah, but my little sheet will tell me for my precinct.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Yeah,
I'm all over
this is an important tool. We met somebody on Hill Harper's campaign trail. We met someone who had never voted before, and they were saying, well, they don't know how to write in someone's name, and that's not it. So there's still a lot of first-time voters, whether you're turning 18 or I should say, this is your first time, or you've been away for a long time, you've given up on voting, but now you're curious and you want to go back. Voting is so easy, and no one should ever be embarrassed if you're like, I don't know, less than 12, but not more than 2 or whatever, all the mathematics. If you ever in the poll and you don't understand the language, how they ask the questions, what you're supposed to do, they are so happy. I'm going to tell you, when I worked the polling locations, we cheered the first time voter. We're so excited, and we don't go in there with you, but we can tell you on a sample ballot how to fill it out. So you want to pick one person for your president and one person for your clerk, and we'll explain it to you, and just fill in the oval, stay inside the oval. It is so super easy, and the people who work there will be so happy to help you, and be real discreet too if you want to. So if you're a first-time voter, please come out and vote as well.
And please just vote. Detroit, 16.1% of you voted in the primary 2 years ago. 16.1%. Please make it more than that this time. Please make it more than 16% going to the polls to elect people that are going to represent you and your issues. Because as far as I'm concerned, if you didn't vote, you don't have a right to say anything to me about anything. Now, you may think you do, but you don't, because you didn't vote. You didn't exercise your right to have something to say. You exercise that right to have something to say by voting. If you don't vote, You don't have a right to say anything to any politician about what they didn't do, how they did it, or even what they did do that you didn't like because you didn't vote. That says you really didn't care. You really don't care what they say or what they do or how they act because you didn't vote. That's how you get a
That's
chance
right.
to go to a meeting and say, I think A, B, C, D. Did you vote? That's how you get your chance to
Did
be able to
you?
ask that question.
And you know
Otherwise,
what else is good, Edna? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Finish your
what? No,
statement. I'm sorry.
I was on my soapbox for a minute. I'm done. Okay.
You was
I'm
on
on
there.
get off
All
soapbox
right.
right.
The other good thing that people should consider doing is to meet the candidate now. If especially as a first time candidate, I did look at this list. I think actually it is everybody here on the state representatives and then the county commissioners. But go and meet them and volunteer. The great thing about volunteer is that it's you're volunteering. You're not being voluntold. So if you say I'm only giving you 2 hours, you go and give 2 hours. If you say I'll come every day for 1 hour, then that's it. You call your time. But meet them, as the rappers say, started from the bottom, now I'm here, and make a friend and have an ally, because you'll never know. It'll be something caught up with your taxes. Some loved one is in jail somewhere. You've got an issue with the police department. I mean, you remember when people who got that false fees for filing unemployment or
Mm-hmm.
unemployment incorrectly, and everybody was reaching out to all of our offices to fix that unemployment fee. You never know, but when you have a relationship with your elected official, we take care of everybody, but the
Yeah.
ones who've come in, especially at this time of campaigning, we remember you. You end up in our telephone, and you get priority. You get front of the line VIP treatment,
Exactly. See,
truth
that's
be
what's
told.
important.
So make sure
Yes.
this is the time now. Get on board.
Yes, you get priority. And not that everybody else isn't important, but if you were there and the other folks weren't, then you get to step up because they know who you are.
Your call gets answered. Your text will be returned
Yes, your call will
quickly.
definitely be returned. Yes, yes. So it's
Yeah.
and sometimes I talk to my grandkids about how important it is to go to some of these events and meet people. Well, and sometimes I think that they have gotten worn out because they've been campaigning for a long time, but
Mhm.
still, it's important for everybody to be able to go and make sure somebody recognizes you. They
Yeah.
know who you are. Even if they don't remember your name, they remember your face, and that does make a difference. It makes a
Yeah.
huge difference for you and whatever issue is important to you and your family. So, yeah, volunteer, volunteer. You don't have to be paid for everything, everybody. You just don't have
Yeah.
to be paid for everything, and you will
And
get
they
so
couldn't
much
pay you
more.
enough. You couldn't get paid enough. And I know at the Hill Hopper campaign, we are still taking volunteers. In fact, as we are getting into this last 7 days of voting, hillhopper.com is the place you can go. You can still donate $5. People always think, I don't really have much. If everybody who didn't really have much gave $5, we have so much we wouldn't know what to do with. So
Yes,
please, it is worth it for you to take the time to go visit our website, and you can make a contribution there. You can find out how to sign up to volunteer if you want to help out on election day or the days leading up to election day. We're still canvassing, we're still phone banking, trying to visit every party, family reunion, cookout event that's happening in town. And we'd love for you to represent, take some lawn signs, some literature, some buttons, some pens, some backpacks, and spread the
any
word of Hill Harper all over
where is
Michigan.
where is the campaign office located?
The campaign office is on Livernois, just north of 7 Mile, and it has Hill Hopper, Hill Hopper, Hill Hopper banners and stickers all over it. I don't have the exact address, but if you go to hillhopper.com, there is. And but it's on Livernois between 7 and 8 Mile, but just north of
And you'll
seven
see the
mile.
signs when you get on 7 Mile, just north of, rather, Livernois, just north of 7 Mile. You'll see the signs. It'll be clear to you that's
Yeah.
where his office is. So, go over there, volunteer, do something. Do something. If you can't go in, call them and they'll give you a list of people to call. They can tell you, call your neighbors and call all your relatives. If you call, just call your relatives because you just assume that your relatives are voting. Don't assume that. Please don't assume that. Call your
No.
cousins and your aunties and your nephews and nieces because they're not all voting. They are
Right.
not all voting. So call them and let them know the election is going on. They need to exercise their responsibility to themselves and to this community and vote. It's easy. You don't have to go far. You can drop off at any of the early voting sites and vote. Easy. Uh, Hill Harper has some events coming up. I know one of them is tomorrow morning. There is a breakfast tomorrow morning.
There is a wonderful prayer breakfast hosted by some beautiful, lovely women who lead for Hill Harper at 8:30 a.m. to 10 at Liberty Temple. That's in Detroit on Greenfield. I need to come with some addresses in hand, but I don't have that address, Edna. I'm going to look it up in a second, but it is tomorrow
Yeah,
8 at Liberty Temple Baptist Church in Detroit.
and it's 8:30 until 10:30. Just show up. And again, if you got $1 and that's what you have, bring it. If you've got $5, bring it. Whatever you have, but what we want you to do is to be able to hear Hill Harper, the candidate. You want to hear him. And the other thing I want you to do is his mom has come here to help him campaign. His mom has been in the city for at least the last 5 months, helping him campaign. And his mom is, what is she, 87 or 90? Leslie, she's one of the two. But his mom has come here. She is a doctor. They grew up in, I want to believe it's either Massachusetts, Vermont. And she has left her home to come here and campaign with her son. She's a lovely, lovely lady. And so you'll get a chance to meet Mom Harper tomorrow, along with Hill, and along with lots of ladies and I think the title is Ladies That Lead. And they will be there tomorrow
Ladies.
morning hosting a breakfast for Hill Harper and invite all of you to come out. Just show up. Most
Yeah.
of you are up at 8:30 in the morning. I know you aren't necessarily out, but I know you're up because I'm up. I'm not necessarily out, but tomorrow I'm going to be up and out for that breakfast
Yeah.
to be able to greet Hill Harper, to hear what he's going to share with us. We've got some dynamic female pastors who are going to be bringing prayers to support him. One of them is one of the ministers at my own church, the Reverend April Hearn. Dynamic woman. As a matter of fact, love goes to April. Yesterday was April's last Sunday as a minister at New
Oh,
Prospect. Is retired, and we had a wonderful celebration for her yesterday after service. April is a wonderful young lady, and see, I've known April probably almost since she was born because she and my niece are great buddies, and my daughters, and they all sang in the youth choir at New Prospect and all that good stuff. But April will be one of those ministers who will be sharing with us tomorrow. So come out, have a few cups of tea or coffee or a little fruit or a little croissant or something and share with us and listen and be prepared to take information back to your perspective or respective communities. And let people know that, yeah, I did meet this man. He does live in Detroit. He is a business owner. He is running for the Senate of this great state of Michigan. So all sorts of good stuff that is going to be happening. Let's
yes. And
are we're ready to go.
one of our we're going to go. Okay.
No, we're not. No, we're ready to go.
I just want to get a show. Okay. Can I? Yes, I want to. Please come out to the breakfast. And I think it's really appropriate that as Black women in this community, and I know Alicia Bell, your daughter, has been a great advocate. She led a press conference where Black women leaders in Detroit demanded a seat at the table. And not only that, we are the table. Come on, let's face it.
Yeah, how dare you decide you're going to have a meal at our house and not invite us? Come on.
Right. So I think prayer is apropos for this moment in time in our history. And so we want to just be uplifted in spirits as we move into these last 7 days of the campaign, not only praying for Brother Hill Harper, but for our city, our state, and our world. And shout out to Alicia Bell, who's one of a few county commissioners. The county commissioners are on the ballot too, who are unopposed. Alicia Bell, Monique Baker McCormick, Tim Killeen. Congratulations on running unopposed. It's not, everybody want to run, at the same time. And sometimes you got to know what to do, but everybody has a right to run and you do what you want to do. So shout out to Chairwoman Alicia Bell in her run for re-election for the county commission.
Yes, we appreciate the service that she has given over these past 20 years.
We always get mistaken for sisters. I think it's our cheeks, and when we smile, we just love. It's easy.
And easy is always good. We like easy. We don't like hard. I don't care what anybody says. I don't like hard. Easy is what we're looking to do. Now, there is an event I'm hearing that's going on tomorrow afternoon, also for Mr. Harper. Do you know about that one, Leslie?
Yes. So another group of women. The women in Michigan are strong. Led by Livonia Perriman. They'll be at the Whittier Manor tomorrow from 2 to 4 p.m. And again, Mr. Harper will be in the house. He'll be present for that. Again, at the Whittier Manor from 2 to 4 p.m. tomorrow. So it's another opportunity to get to meet the candidate. And I'm sure these are praying ladies, but this is the turn up. They're going to have a good time. I think there's lots that Livonia and her team, Theo Broughton and some other folks over there have planned for quite an afternoon.
Well, going to
be a party.
Great day in our city, in our region. There'll be ladies from all over the region who will be there. The mayor of Lathrop Village, the mayor of Ypsilanti. We've got ladies from all over the place who will be there who are in leadership, and we're just proud to be associated with those young ladies. Miss Leslie Love, thank you so much. I appreciate your coming on to talk about politics and talk about what's going on with Mr. Harper's campaign. Anything else you want to talk about with us? I miss you coming on to talk about conservation and the parks, the state conservation. Yeah, that's what and the young man that you bring on to talk about Belle Isle.
They have invested millions of dollars in Belle Isle. Oh my word! The conservancy is being redone. Some wet water lands, and some just investment in restrooms. The giant slide just reopened. It's so much now. I mean, the state of Michigan, I was a county, a conservation commissioner for the state of Michigan. And that's sponsored by the Belle Isle is ran or sponsored by the state of Michigan right now. So, I miss it. And I have not gone out hunting or fishing this season. And I was just saying, I'm a vegan now, but I might have to be Presbyterian because I really want some fish out of Lake Michigan and yum it up.
All that good stuff.
But before we go, again, that evening one, 2 to 4 at the Whittier Manor. And it's also Congresswoman Brenda Lawrence is the special guest there.
Wonderful.
HillHopper.com.
I want to go back to Belle Isle because I'm going to give you an assignment. Even though you're not a conservation commissioner anymore, why are not the lights on the Scout Fountain? So you need to go investigate that and come back and tell our listeners. Because Belle Isle is one of my favorite places under the sun. One of my favorite places. And I don't know why the lights are not on.
Romantic night. Okay, I'll find that out. I'll get to the end of that. I'll put on my Nancy Drew and do that.
There you go. See, that's your assignment to help us know why the lights are not on the Scout Fountain. That's one of the 8th wonders of the world, in my opinion. The Scout Fountain is wonderful. That's my favorite place. So that's where I spend a lot of time, just sitting and reading and listening and doing all that good stuff. And then it's a wonderful, wonderful spot in our city. And I want to tell you, was it the holiday, the 4th of July? They had to close the park down. There were so many people. And they had a line going from the West End Boulevard entrance to Belle Isle that extended all the way back almost to Shane Street for people waiting to get into the park because there were so many people already there that they couldn't let them in. Another line down the boulevard, East Grand Boulevard, going north, that went all the way to Kercheval for people who were waiting in line to get onto the park. I'm sorry that those people couldn't get on, but I'm just thrilled that we had so many people who wanted to be there and were already there. So our park is a wonderful place.
Yeah.
It's my favorite place under the sun. So I just love it. I love it. Any closing comments, Leslie?
I just love you, Edna Bell. And
Oh,
just, I think this is a great service that you do here and wonderful information that you share. We even talked about a little bit of everything today and getting people ready to vote early, support the proposals on the ballot, your local candidates down ballot. That's right here from U.S. Senate to county commissioners. So to all your listeners, I'm so thankful that you're here with us this day. And you be well and stay well and be healthy. And I'm going to tell you, and the next time I come on, I like to bring on my health coach. This young lady is so dynamic. Never did I ever think I would stop eating meat and dairy and drop so much weight, healthy, and it's been transformative in my life. And I think she'd be so helpful and transformative for your listeners too. So that's your assignment, to see if we can get a health person in here to get us ready
there you go.
for the rest of our lives.
We can do that. And what you'll do, the two of you will come to the studio and have that conversation. That's what we'll do next time. You let me know.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being on, Leslie. We appreciate it. Again, the Honorable Leslie Love, former state representative. We are just so happy to have you always. She always brings us good information. But the most important information right now is, everybody, August the 6th. Please go vote. Please vote on August the 6th. Listening audience, we thank you for being with us. And I'll see you next Monday at 4 o'clock. For what? For the Community Bell Show. Have a great week.
Neighborhood beautification. That's very important to Detroit. It's very important to block clubs, organizations, and people who live in the community. We got started with 2 lots and a vision of a treehouse center. Because if we can take these blighted lots, Detroit give us grants to be able to do something with them that the community wants, it's a plus, because we're bringing our neighborhoods back to where we want them to be, where they should be. All because I live in Detroit.
It's time to rise up for healthier births with Project Healthy Arrival. At WVTC Detroit, we're on a mission to do our part to achieve 0 preventable deaths and 0 health disparities in Michigan. But we can't do it alone. Disparities still plague our communities, especially for Black and brown mothers and babies. Let's break barriers and build bridges for better health. Together, we'll ensure every birth is a joyous occasion. For more info, visit www.michigan.gov, Advancing Healthy Births. Remember, WBTC's Project Healthy Arrival is powered by grants from the Southeast Michigan Perinatal Improvement Coalition, Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, and United Way for Southeastern Michigan.
Thank you for listening to Community Bell with your host, former Wayne County Commissioner Edna Bell. This broadcast was brought to you by WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, our website, www.wvtcradio.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. If you've enjoyed this broadcast, tell a friend to tune in. We'll see you next Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern to the Community Bell Show, right here on WVTC Radio Detroit.
Go to your Apple or Google Play Store and download the WVTC Gospel Radio app today. You can also say, Alexa, play WVTC Radio Skills.
Would you like to play WVTC Radio Network?
Absolutely. Download it today.
You're listening to WVTC Gospel Radio Detroit, and we're flowing in the Spirit.